I was very surprised, but I was very pleased because it's really, I think, a very important film and a very special film also for me.
Catherine Deneuve has been greater than a mere celebrity for many years. She is the epitome of classic grace, mystique, and beauty. But today, at the age of 81, her metamorphosis is just breathtaking. Her unmistakable appearance and chilly charm made her the ultimate French movie legend at one point. Although most celebrities lose their luster with time, Deneuve's star power never wanes. How has she managed to outlive most people her age? How did she manage to exude such enduring charisma and make such daring decisions in life? Her journey has been one of unwavering strength and innovation, from conquering personal traumas and scandals to pushing the frontiers of film. But how has her life changed, and what does she look like now? We must return to the beginning if we are to fully comprehend her current identity. Catherine Deneuve wasn't born into any ordinary household. She was born into a cinematic universe where narrative was paramount. She came into this world in Paris, France on October 22, 1943 as Catherine Fabienne Deneuve. As a child, I grew up in a creative household where famous movie phrases resounded throughout the house. Renée Simoneau was a stage actress who became famous for French dubbing of Hollywood icons. Her father, Maurice Dorlec, was an actor and voice artist. Even though films were everywhere, little Catherine never imagined she'd be a movie star. She had aspirations of working in the fields of interior design and archaeology due to her fascination with aesthetics and design. She favored the serene, creative expression of repairing and unearthing secret histories to the unexpected mayhem of the film business. However, destiny intervened. Rather than following her own ambitions, Catherine followed in the footsteps of her illustrious performing family. Françoise d'Orléac, her elder sister, was already a star, self-assured, magnetic, and playing the lead lady with ease. She inspired Catherine to see acting for what it is, more than simply a family heritage, and she became Catherine's biggest role model. Catherine tried it with some reluctance. She had her first little part in Le Collier, 1957, when she was only 13 years old. Tragic events befell her in 1967, and no amount of preparation had been possible. Françoise was tragically died in an automobile accident in Nice, France, when she was just 25 years old. It was an intolerable loss. The breakup left Catherine with an unfillable void, and she was devastated. They had been inseparable, the two sisters. Grief loomed large without Françoise, but she refused to back down from the limelight and instead continued to carry on her sister's work. Her life's work has transformed from an alternative to her raison d'être. Catherine, though beautiful and born into aristocracy, had a difficult childhood. She lacked the classical training that her contemporaries had in the theater. Filmmakers frequently passed her over for less dramatic actors and put her in little parts that nobody would remember because of how reserved and cold she seemed on screen. Nonetheless, she exhibited remarkable patience. She took notes, observed, and waited for the tide to turn. She had a few little parts that didn't amount to much in the early 1960s as she tried to find her niche in the profession. Many questioned whether she had what it took to become a genuine leading lady, despite her classic film star looks. The year 1964 was a watershed moment. Finding the right actress to play Geneviève was a top priority for director Jacques Demy of the groundbreaking musical The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. In this groundbreaking production, every word was sung, combining vibrant colors with genuine passion. Either a revolutionary success or a total bust was possible. Catherine paused as Demy drew near. Since she isn't a vocalist, the idea of singing every line in a film was so terrifying that she almost declined the part, thinking she wasn't cut out for it. Demy nevertheless noticed something about her, an understated intensity, an air of presence that didn't need for flashy displays. She could explain herself more effectively through her eyes, emotions, and silences, he told her, rather than her words. Catherine jumped into a job that would shape her early career after receiving such encouragement. At its 1964 Cannes Film Festival opening, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg caused quite a stir. After the film took home the Palme d'Or, Catherine Deneuve became a household name. Her performance, her stunning blonde beauty, and the subtle sadness she conveyed to Genevieve enchanted the audience. She was compared to cinema icons of yesteryear, and critics praised her as the embodiment of modern French grace. Not only did the picture garner attention in France, but it went on to become a worldwide hit, gaining Deneuve a nomination for Best Foreign Language Picture at the Academy Awards and demonstrating the innovative nature of his vision. Directors in Hollywood were eager to cast this enigmatic blonde European because of her ethereal quality. In an instant, Catherine Deneuve transformed from an up-and-coming actress attempting to carve out a niche for herself to the very essence of French elegance, mysterious, beautiful, and untouchable. Yves Saint Laurent, the renowned fashion designer, was one among many who took note. He recognized in her the ideal model, someone whose poise was like a painting. She became famous because to the umbrellas of Cherbourg, but the book also raised expectations. She had already shown that she could control the screen. Now everyone was waiting for her next move. Achieving fame and fortune came with its fair share of surprises. Life outside of acting was just as eventful for Catherine Deneuve as her on-screen persona. She was a teenager when she fell for Roger Vadim, a self-assured older guy who was completely absorbed in his film career. They coexisted during an era when such decisions were considered scandalous, but Catherine chose to disregard the nitpicking. She turned down Roger's repeated proposals because she saw marriage as a ceremonial at best and a necessity at worst. Although they had a kid together, they eventually broke up because their differences were too great. While others may have viewed the separation as a crisis, Catherine chose to go on with her life. She eventually tied the knot with David, a fearless photographer who was making waves in the glamorous world of high fashion. Mick Jagger was the best man during their hastily performed wedding, but the union was short-lived. Looking back, Catherine used to say that learning English was the greatest part. Although she was free-spirited and enjoyed trying new things, Catherine Deneuve never felt confined by formalities or societal norms. Marcello Mastroianni, an Italian actor with an irresistible cinematic presence, was frequently associated with her most intense affair. They had a passionate bond right from the beginning. They became close beyond the limelight after meeting on set of a film they were both working on. One catch, though: Marcello was already tied the knot. Catherine refused to allow rumors dictate her actions while the world looked on and passed judgment. Still adamant that a legal union would do nothing to alter the intensity of her love for her daughter Chiara, she embraced parenthood in her own unique manner and gave birth to Chiara. Even more so when she collaborated with some of the industry's top male artists. Rumors followed her about. Rumors circulated regarding relationships with Burt Reynolds, Clint Eastwood, and Alain Delon. She managed to keep her passionate on-screen moments contained inside her acting career, which kept her identity a mystery. She seldom provided explanations and let people think what they chose to believe about her. One thing was consistent throughout Catherine's romances: her utmost appreciation for independence. She had profound affection, but she defined it in her own manner. The length and terms of her relationships were entirely up to her, whether they were with photographers, directors, or international stars. Because she would not be confined by labels, many found her all the more fascinating. She famously said that love should never seem like a prison. She became known as one of the few celebrities who bravely handled fame and love because of the way she thought. In a society that frequently sought to limit women to tidy, predictable positions, Catherine Deneuve stood firm and never once apologized for her decisions. She rejected the conventional route of marriage and permanent commitment in favor of romance, which allowed her to maintain her autonomy. Her detractors branded her as defiant, while her supporters praised her as an independent spirit. Catherine Deneuve was a mystery on many levels, including her personal life and her combat prowess. She fearlessly embraced controversy. While abortion was still illegal in France in 1971, she astonished many by signing the 343 Manifesto, a daring public declaration in which women confessed to having illegal abortions. She added her name to speak up for women's autonomy over their bodies, risking criticism and legal issues in the process. She acted without hesitation despite the fact that it may have been detrimental to her career. Catherine raised reservations about the #Me Too movement's attitude years later, when it was at its height. Although she was in favor of women's rights, she was concerned that the movement unfairly singled out some persons without providing sufficient evidence. Many were angry that she seemed to be endorsing destructive conduct in her remarks. However, Catherine did not grovel or provide a typical apology. Rather, she held firm, explaining her position and demanding transparency and justice, even when her detractors would not budge. Her frankness was unabated. Beyond women's problems, her defiant spirit reached far. She went so far as to engage in a legal dispute with a publication that had inappropriately utilized her identity. Catherine believed that no one had the authority to use her likeness or identity for promotional purposes since they were hers alone. Her victory in court meant that the newspaper had to alter its title, sending a strong message that her legacy could not be profited from without her permission. There was no denying her celebrity power in Hollywood, but she steadfastly refused to compromise her individuality in pursuit of larger parts. Because she thought the scripts were insensitive or without depth, she declined them. She felt at home in French film and had no desire to conform to the American system, which frequently required a specific type of star power in order to fit in. As an alternative, she stuck with the French film business and took on roles that suited her creative vision. This resulted in her turning down big acting roles in Hollywood, but it also helped establish her as a fiercely independent performer. Catherine Deneuve continued to exhibit the same bravery that she shown when she signed the 343 Manifesto throughout her life. In the face of praise or criticism, she remained steadfast. Throughout her fights, she spoke with a conviction and clarity that few celebrities had the courage to display. On and off television, she defied expectations, showing that a powerful, assertive, and attractive woman could thrive in the limelight. Those who wanted her to be someone other than who she really was never got her respect. She proved that one may achieve fame and fortune in Hollywood without compromising their morals or values via her outspoken advocacy on social and political problems. Although she endured severe criticism for speaking up during an age when many celebrities chose to remain silent in order to safeguard their careers, Catherine never compromised her principles for the sake of popularity or security. The effects of time started to show even though she was strong. Catherine fought both public and private conflicts. She had a long-term battle with her cigarette habit, during which she smoked as much as 3 packs a day. The stress of being the center of attention from an early age exacerbated the condition. Some thought it was cute that she always had a cigarette on set, but her loved ones were worried about the impact it was having on her health. She was aware of the dangers and attempted to quit many times with the help of patches, hypnotherapy, and friends, but each time her efforts failed. After successfully abstaining for a few years in the mid-1980s, she succumbed to personal life pressures and resumed her habit. Many were rooting for her to break the deadly habit as they watched her battle. The year 2019 was the turning point. Unfortunately, Catherine had a stroke during filming. Doctors rushed her to the hospital and told her she needed to make some serious adjustments to her way of life. The event rocked her to her very being. Perhaps for the first time in her life, she saw how precarious life might be. So she halted her career and devoted herself fully to her recuperation. With the support of those who loved her, she fought the battle of her life. Catherine gradually recovered her strength with the help of physical therapy and a rigorous regimen. Thoughts of permanently disappearing from screen time were widely held, but she had other intentions. She shrugged off a health scare and quietly mounted a strong recovery. She had changed her perspective and was now more deliberate in her professional pursuits. She finally kicked the habit of smoking, linking her passion for films to her health, and she stopped taking on jobs for the sake of her career. Instead, She insisted that each one have personal significance. The critics saw a shift. The difficulties she had overcome had given her performances a new dimension. She brought her own story of overcoming adversity to the roles she played, elevating her role beyond that of an actress. In spite of everything, Catherine demonstrated that one can get back up, even after falling, and even stronger, wiser, and more resolute than before. In the early 1990s, she showcased a new side to her acting in the epic historical drama Indochine, 1992, which catapulted her to new heights. Her performance was one of her most powerful to date. No amount of celebrity ever defined her. Catherine stayed true to French film, which provided her big-budget parts since she was interested in stories that questioned norms and probed the complexities of human nature. She had a career-defining performance as a French plantation owner in colonial Vietnam in Indochine, a role that showcased her trademark grace and genuine emotional depth. She was one of very few French performers to obtain an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, thanks to the success of the film. Even if she didn't take home the prize, just being nominated was a victory that solidified her position in cinematic history. Catherine wasn't only a movie star, she became a national icon for France. She was the French Republic's official emblem, Marianne, representing independence and dignity from 1985 until 1989. Her self-assurance, independence, and classic good looks made her more than simply an actress. She personified French national pride. She maintained the air of unforced elegance that had made her a fashion legend in the world of fashion. She wore Yves Saint Laurent's creations on and off screen for a long time. She was his muse. Their partnership was an ode to French elegance that transcended the realm of fashion. As if her international recognition weren't enough, she collaborated with fashion houses like Louis Vuitton and Chanel, demonstrating that genuine splendor has no bounds. The creative side of Catherine's personality was always there. She collaborated with new filmmakers who saw a quiet but strong force in her, and she frequently opted for challenging parts over commercial blockbusters. Her presence on screen was palpable, whether in historical dramas or modern features. Viewers felt that they were seeing more than simply a character. They were watching a legend in action. Despite the fact that her likeness appeared on movie posters, magazine covers, and advertising campaigns for years to come, Catherine Deneuve never once strayed from her own self. Even now, she'll only play parts that truly pique her attention. She chooses assignments based on her aesthetic sensibilities now that she doesn't feel the need to prove anything. Catherine continues to be a respected figure in the business, even as it changes. Her name is powerful without requiring continual reinvention. She may have taken a break from the fast-paced world of filmmaking, but she was never really absent from the screen. Her latest focus on character-driven personal films has given her the freedom to delve into the complexities of aging, identity, and legacy. The depth she has brought to her already outstanding career is enhanced by the fact that her current performances are the product of a lifetime of experience. Her impact goes far beyond the realm of performing. She is a staunch supporter of creative freedom and social justice, and her remarks on these topics often ignite controversy. As is her wont, she says what's on her mind regardless of the reaction. Even at the age of 81, Catherine Deneuve never ceases to captivate. She exemplifies a timeless grace that defies fads and expectations. Whether she's at a private fashion event, in a hand-picked film, or just relaxing in the French countryside. Catherine Deneuve is more than simply an actress. She represents strength, grace, and autonomy. She has defied expectations throughout her life and continues to captivate audiences with her unpredictable journey. She shies away from the limelight, yet it finds her nonetheless, captivated by the aura of mystique and understated power that has always characterized her. Whether on screen or in the peace of the French countryside, she carries the burden of a life well lived, a woman who has loved deeply, fought courageously, and never compromised her identity. With the same poise and conviction that shaped her legendary career, she moves through this chapter of her life. Even at the age of 81, Catherine Deneuve proves that genuine idols do not pass away. She is more than simply a famous actress from the past.